Welcome to the Freelance Drive. Here we talk with skilled freelancers about their professional journey. Stay tuned for real life experiences to learn and actionable steps to take to improve your freelancing career. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Cordt Zermin, a technical product manager with 14 plus years of experience in tech, and 8 of them leading products in startups and established companies. So, welcome, Cordt.
Hi, thanks for being here.
I'm super happy to talk to you, even though our last conversation was a year ago. Let's continue from the moment we stopped. And, I have a lot of conversation with different freelancers, and many freelancers I talked, they said that they're receiving clients by the word of mouth or get approached by recruiters. And usually they just have a PDF, CV, or portfolio. So from your perspective, why did you decide to create a website?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there are two parts to it. Maybe the first one might be the more obvious one. Like, I hope that in due time we can use this website, because it's not just one for me, but for my wife and me, as a lead funnel. So our intention is that we really try to place this website on keywords properly so that we can actually generate leads via it. And also we believe that over LinkedIn, when people have the possibility to click on a website, they get a very good first impression of the people they are looking at, and that might help with the conversion as well. So that's one part of it, but I assume that will take a little bit of time to figure this out and really generate leads there. But the other part is that I really do think that while CVs absolutely have that purpose, and usually if they are done well, really help to just at one glance figure out what a person is good at and is looking for, I think you can really use a website, for example, as a place to show the skills that you have and what you're capable of. Like, we very intentionally built this thing end to end. Like, as a product manager, you could imagine that we go ahead and try to find people who are like excellent web developers or excellent designers, and really ask them to do this job for us, and try to do just, if you will, product management work for it. But for our website, we very intentionally did all these things ourselves, because we also believe that knowing the craft that you are, or the craft of the people you are working with day to day in great detail is just an important thing. And I think showing this website and saying, hey, we built this, we know how to design things, we know how to use Figma, we know how to build a website, I think is also a strong statement, like to say we know what we are doing here.
How much time did it take you from the idea to really having it running?
Well, that's a good question. I think the idea we had for quite some time, so it was much rather, like, as it always is, a question of prioritization. So I think when we said, okay, let's get this started, we did this in 1 month. Like, we had projects running at that time, so we obviously couldn't dedicate our entire week to it, but it took us roughly 1 month of several hours, nights and weekends, as they say. And yeah, I think that's what it took.
And what was the hardest part of creating a website?
Both my wife and I are perfectionists, and for things we do for ourselves, like, we are good at striking the right balance when we are working on projects, and we know how important that is. When we are doing our own project, and the website definitely counts as own project, then we are perfectionists and we can't help it. So really getting to a point where we say, this is good, and it's really good, and it doesn't need like 5 more iterations, but we should get it out there now, and then we can still see whether we want to give it one more go or get more feedback from other people. I think that was actually pretty challenging.
And tell me a little about the feedback. I saw your LinkedIn post when you're like, hey, here is our new website, so please give us any feedback. So did you receive any feedback on the website?
We did receive a lot of feedback on the website. I'm not sure whether the source was actually LinkedIn, but we would ask people where we know that they are either pretty good at giving feedback in general, or they know, the thing they are looking at very well. So I would, for example, reach out to a designer I worked with on a previous project that I value very much. And, I immediately, like one day later, I get almost a book of, okay, see, this is a no-no. And then we discuss a little bit, and that's very helpful. But then we also try to get a little bit of feedback from people who are maybe less biased towards telling us that they think it looks great and it's beautiful or whatever, but instead tell us something like, okay, I went there, I was lost. This is really what is most helpful in the end, right?
Totally. And you told a little about lead generation. So do you plan maybe to create some blog, to write some blog posts with keywords, to use some SEO, or maybe you were thinking about using Google advertisement or something like that?
Yeah, actually both of that. Although for the first part that you mentioned, like content marketing, I have a very strong, let's say, opinion on that. So I think it is a very valuable and very good marketing tool, but I would never, for the sake of having content on that website, just generate content, put it there and hope that it ranks us or places us better. And what that means is, like, we are not going to use ChatGPT-4 and have it write some random article about some topic that is related to this. I don't think there's any value in that. What I do think might be a good idea is, like, since we are product managers and we have multiple fields that we are working in, there's always a whole lot of things that you need to stay on top of, that you need to learn about and educate yourself about. And AI is obviously one of them. Web3 is one where you can, like, a never ending journey of learning. And so if you combine those two things, like, I need to learn about this and I want to do content marketing on my website, then, I learn about it in a course or by applying it myself. I write down what I understood. I try to boil it down in a way that it helps other people to understand what this is about, what it means, and why it is important. And then I put it in a format that is digestible for potential leads or readers on our website. And then, like, by combining those two things, I think that is a very worthwhile activity.
Got it. So you have a website, and what happened next when potential client sends you an email or book a call from the website?
I mean, we handle that very much like we would handle a product. So we try to get something out as quick as possible, and then we really try to learn from what we get as feedback. So if someone is going to book a call, then first of all, we try to make sure in advance to, it sounds funny, but get an agenda for that call. Kind of like, we need to understand what is the intent of that user, of that potential customer, to reach out to us, to see how we can prepare this and what to expect. And then we really take it from there. Like, I mean, the categories that we show on the tiers that we show on our website are like suggestions to our potential customers, what we could do with them. But then we still have to see, like, when they approach us, what is it exactly that their problem is? What is it exactly that they need help with? And then we try to figure that out. And it might later inform that maybe what we are currently showing on the website is not the right offering for the audience, and we might want to adjust it. But I think definitely in the spirit of proper product development, get something out, get feedback on this, see how it works, and iterate on it.
So let's imagine you have an agenda with client and you've made a first call. What happens next?
So I think that depends completely on that call. I can just give you a few examples of what might potentially happen. So the obvious, maybe the easiest case is they need an interim product manager, for example. Like my wife Laura had a project with a client in Munich recently where the project manager went on a sabbatical for 5 months, and they needed to have someone to jump in, cover for that person, do a handover in the beginning and at the end. And this is exactly what was needed. And so we would basically in that call align on things like how do you work, what is important for you, what do you want our advice on? Like, is it really just, if you think of roles, sometimes clients just want a product owner, like really in the Scrum sense. So someone that goes there, takes a backlog, prioritizes it, writes the stuff, talks with the team, and makes sure that it gets delivered. But more often, they want a product manager, and this is really something we need to understand in that call, where, of course, the range of responsibilities is much wider, and we then really try to understand what is it exactly that they want us to do, and this varies quite a bit, to be honest, from customer to customer. Also depends a lot on the organization and the size of it.
You told a little about tiers, about interim product manager, and on your website you have 3 of them. So it's like fractional interim product manager, team coaching and workshops, and 0 to 1 product launches. So while creating those tiers, did you rely on your experience and made these tiers out of what you've already done the best, or also maybe you've made a market and competitor research? Basically, how did you create those tiers?
Yeah, it's actually exactly what you say. It's based on the things we have already done and we feel comfortable doing. So the first one I already just explained, it's just a fractional or interim product manager. And the second one, workshops, is also something we have done with clients. It is really sometimes that you just need input from someone who is not fully biased by working at a place for a long time. You just need a fresh pair of eyes and ears. And so we can do a workshop together with clients. We have done that before and happy to do that again. Mm-hmm. And the third one is actually, we haven't done it exactly like that before, but in a similar setup. So basically, we do know what it takes to staff a team in order to do like a 0 to 1 project, if you will, where you just want to get a prototype or actual first version of a product on the street and see how it works and maybe build a business from there. So we would still handle the product management part on that. But then, of course, we rely on partners that we have that we would take in that can provide all the other required resources for a project like that. But yes, we did all of these things before, and we feel very comfortable offering them.
Are you expanding those tiers?
Maybe, like if we have a bunch of calls and people keep asking for something that's not listed there, then I think it would make perfect sense to put it there so that people immediately feel reaffirmed that this is something we offer to them.
Also, are those tiers fixed and you always work on with clients according to them? Or maybe you create new tiers according to the needs of the client after the call, for example?
No, this is really just it is an offering, it is a suggestion as to what we can do, but we really work fully based on agile principles in our work and also in these kind of things. So someone approaches us, they tell us about their problem, and we talk about what is the best solution to this. And we are not like firm on how this solution has to be. We are not prescriptive on how it has to be. We see what works best or what we believe works best, and consult the client on this, and then are totally happy to do whatever is best.
I know that it's really hard for many people to, like write down their skills and write down their services. So they kind of know a lot, but they don't know how to present it. So if you were creating those tiers right now currently, what would be your step-by-step creation process?
So first of all, I firmly believe that the most important thing you can and should do about any topic that you want to convey, where you want to make sure that you understand it, is like really to write it down. But because in the moment you write it down, you will immediately see where you're not clear. Like, of course, I can talk all the time to you about something, but if I actually make the exercise, sit down and try to write it down in concise points that someone else can easily understand, I will immediately see, did I really understand that? Do I really know what I'm talking about? And the same goes for this. So, of course, it was a little bit painful in the beginning. Like, how do we actually write this down now? What our offering is? And we really had to think hard if, and that maybe to answer your question is the process behind it. So we would sit down and wonder, what is it exactly that we are doing for clients? Now we have done a bunch of projects, and what was exactly their ask, because it was different for each of them, and then try to see whether there's a pattern in there. So this time we did this, that time we did that, and was it the same? Was it something else? And then really out of these considerations, I crystallize basically the three things that you can find now on our website. And then we really just try to put it in clear, concise writing what exactly it is.
Do you always work only with projects you like?
Yes, I do. And the thing is, I do not think that I could do a good job if I don't like the work that I'm doing. And I actually wouldn't believe someone who says, I hate this, but I still do an excellent job. I just don't think that is the case ever. This, of course, is a very fortunate situation as long as I can get projects that I do like and that pay the bills. It of course is a very fortunate situation, but I would always try that, because otherwise I think my work is just going to be below the expectations I have on them.
Got it. Cordt, I really wish to have the sky as a limit, but time is a limit to our conversation. So the final question, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food, that's an easy one. So, but I would say cuisine, if that is all right.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it is Japanese. And the thing is, I haven't ever been in Japan before, so I cannot judge on that. But what I have realized is that a couple of places where the Japanese have been before, to put it in, to put it nicely, the cuisine that emerged out of it is just excellent. Like one of them is Peru. Like in Peru, you have a blend of South American and Japanese food, and Peruvian food is just incredible. And then another good example is Taiwan, actually, because Taiwan has this blend of Chinese food and Japanese food in many parts, and that is also just absolutely amazing. And then, yeah, the Japanese food I got so far outside of Japan also wasn't too bad. So I have very high hopes of the food once I will visit Japan, hopefully in the near future.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Cordt, and it's been such a pleasure to hear and learn from you.
Yes, likewise. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much, Yuri.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button, 5 stars, and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.